Another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about 2 days after promising it was still worthy of your investment, the most successful Kickstarter MMO ever was canceled, and its team laid off the developers, the staff, and acted in good faith and deserved better. That's a hell of a title right there. Let me tell you something. Okay, we're also going to watch BigFry TV. He has a video that says they stole millions of dollars from everyone. We're going to watch that. We're also going to cover a story. Some think that new Crimson Desert previews are too good to be true from Forbes, from Paul Tassi. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about Highguard, because Highguard had a 5v5 mode put in, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Daily Grind is Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. If you like to go above that even more, there's a TTS text to talk or text to speak that's in the pinned comment. All comments are read, or not all comments, but most comments are read on stream. But if you want to hear yours read out loud, you can do that as well. Good morning, Eclipse. What's going on, Stealth? What's going on, Travis? All turn. Good morning, Roic, Aku, Jason, Sarge. What's going on? Kylo. Good morning. Who am I missing? Anybody else I'm missing? Jesse Mack. Good morning. Me and Sarge played a little bit of Space Marines 2 after stream on Thursday after the podcast. Let me tell you, we played the prologue, and then we played one mission together, and then we stopped. We'll be playing that on Wednesday. Good game, man. Good game. That's not the reason I didn't play it for the year and 4 months it's been out. The reason I didn't play it is because it was an incomplete game when it came out, and there's a lot more game in that game now than there was when it launched, and that was my biggest concern with games just like that, where if it came out and said it was alpha or beta, then I have no problem paying early access for it for a cheaper price, but instead you pay for a full-price game, and you get less of a game. But fantastic. It reminds me big time of Gears of War back in the day. But at the same time, holy Christ, the animations, and I'm playing on console. I'm not even playing on PC. The graphics, the combat, just brutal. Just brutal. Love it. So we'll be playing that this Wednesday with Shooting the Shit with Sarge. All right, let's get to... Let's talk about Highguard. Highguard. Let me get the other story about Highguard here. Where is it? Highguard. We got this story here I forgot to bring up. This is from comicbook.com. It says, I tried every hero shooter repeating the same mistakes. Okay. Now, the shooter genre has been through a lot of changes. Trends, and hero shooters are also a hot thing right now. They blend competitive multiplayer, expressive characters, and stylish worlds in ways few other shooters do. When a new hero shooter is announced, such as most recent example, Highguard, I want to be excited. I want to dive into it, a new universe, learn the characters, and invest a long-term future. Instead, that excitement is often replaced with familiar sense of disappointment once the full picture becomes clear. So many of these games look incredible, play well enough, and also then stop short in becoming something truly special, which is the potential, right? The potential, we've all had a game that had potential. If it was Division, if it was Marvel's Avengers, whatever game it was, right? There's always that potential, and then it disappoints you. Every time a new hero shooter is released, the developers repeat the same common mistake that it has been made time and time again. While they nail the multiplayer's aspect, little thought is put into a single-player content, especially in a narrative campaign that takes full advantage of the incredible worlds and lore surrounding the gameplay. He says, I'm frustrated with hero shooters because I want to love them, but there's only so much fun I can get out of it, the multiplayer modes, only so much content I can get out of characters when the only way they interact with them is by shooting the enemies and dying. And this goes into, when you look at a lot of these games, what's going on, Aaron? When you look at a lot of these games, and we always have this conversation, chat, like, PvP makes it better. PvE makes it better. Not every game needs to be PvP. Not every game needs to be PvP. But when you make a live service game and you want people to play your game and you want constant people to come back, this is why Destiny has been successful. This is why Division has been around and it's been successful. This is why Fortnite's been around and it's been successful, because they dabble in the single player and they also dabble into the multiplayer as well. It says multiplayer is fine, but where is the single player content? It says, now to be clear, multiplayer is not the problem. Hero shooters are built around team-based competition, and this is exhilarating, especially when playing with friends or even when gunplay abilities and map design come together. Overwatch 2 still feels great to play on a mechanical level, and this has also always been Blizzard's strength. Tight controls, readable visuals, heroes that feel distinct in all matter. Marvel Rivals had a similar success, but the great gameplay alone is no longer enough to carry the entire genre. Okay, it says part of the frustration comes with what was promised was never arrived. Overwatch 2 was supposed to deliver a meaningful single-player PvE content and expanded and the universe and dove deeper into the beloved characters. Blizzard talked about openly about the story missions, hero progression, and narrative arcs that finally bring the game world life beyond the cinematics. And then it bailed, completely going back to the promises that were also made. What players were left with was essentially a reworked multiplayer experience and the lingering feeling of something vital that was stripped away from the favor of the microtransaction shop. Okay, I was going to say microtransaction slop is what I was going to say. Marvel Rivals felt like that. It had an even clearer path. Marvel is one of the richest fictional universes ever created, packed with iconic heroes. Villains and storylines practically beg to adapt into playable missions. Instead, the focus remained squarely on the competitive multiplayer. Fun matches, flashy abilities, recognizable characters can only go so far when there is no deep hook pulling players between matches. These games ask for long-term investment without even giving players a reason to care beyond that within the next win or loss. And what is also sadder is how easily Marvel Rivals could have swept and launched single-player, even multiplayer campaign in the wake of Overwatch 2's failed delivery. I like how this person's catched on, a year and a half after I said it. Okay, the worlds are too cool not to be used. This is where the hero shooters truly stumble. The worlds they also create even often fascinating Overwatch introduction players to the future, shaped by global conflict, advanced technology, moral complex factions. Every animated short, comic, seasonal event hinted at the larger story, and players were never allowed to actually experience the firsthand. We were told about the pivotal moments instead of playing them, learned about each hero life without getting explored them in a meaningful way. That disconnect is exhausting. It says, when I load into a map and select my hero, I do not just see a competitive arena or the avatar and the stats and abilities. I see a city with history, characters, and with relationships, the conflicts that clearly exist beyond the boundaries of a single match. Yet none of this matters once the countdown starts. The match ends, the lobby resets, and the world snaps back into a static backdrop. The problem is that it's not unique to Overwatch 2. Marvel Rivals has access to decades of storytelling across comics, film, animated series, and the idea of playing through a co-op mission that adapts a famous Marvel storyline feels like a no-brainer. Instead, players get characters banter, environmental details, and tease something more substantial, but never deliver it. Now Highguard enters the conversation. It has followed the same path, another hero shooter with the striking visuals, interesting character designs, and lore tucked away in menus and external media. The game has also a rocky reception, but this could have also been a different with Wildlight Entertainment had learned into one aspect of hero shooters have never delivered. Player frustrations could have been subsided, and there was a meaningful use of the world help showcasing the characters and mechanics. Only one hero shooter needs to break the trend. What makes the situation so frustrating is how easy the solution feels. It does not require abandoning competitive multiplayer or turning hero shooters into a full RPG. It just requires one studio to commit using its world in a meaningful way. One hero shooter that also launches while substantial single-player co-op experience alongside the multiplayer would exchange expectations for the entire genre. A hero shooter where story missions release alongside new heroes would also game changer. Missions that explore character backstories, resolve ongoing conflicts, and let the players engage with the world of low-pressure environment. These modes would not replace multiplayer, but complement them and enhance experiences. Players who also want a competition still have it, while others gain the reason to stay invested when they also burnt out of the ranked matches. This approach also helps the onboarding. Single-player co-op content gives you players the space to learn heroes, abilities, mechanics without the stress of competitive play. It builds emotional attachment to characters, which is also turns and makes players more likely to stick around long-term and even buy skins. I've talked about all of this. I talked about this back when Marvel's Avengers came out, right? To give people more content. I talked about this back when Destiny came out, about story-driven content more than the PvP stuff, but they dove into more PvP, and then they got rid of the PvP, and then they went back into PvP, and then they got rid of PvP again. And it's exhausting. Overwatch, I was like, it'd be so easy to just add stories to these characters that they've created. It's not like Blizzard didn't make backstory to these characters. They did. It was going to be an MMO back in the day, right? It was going to be an MMO back in the day, and they decided, no, we're not going to make an MMO. They made Overwatch instead. Marvel Rivals could have easily wiped Overwatch off the map if they just added single player into that thing with story missions of each of the characters and released them as they do. And people would purchase. We've talked about this multiple times. People would purchase expansions for story content for these characters. Okay, it says hero shooters do not need to abandon what they do well. They just need to stop pretending that multiplayer alone is enough. Right? These worlds are too creative. These characters are too well designed. These universes are too rich and remain locked behind endless matches. All it takes is one game to finally break and trend and prove the hero shooters can be more than just a competitive arena. Until that happens, we'll keep having the same conversations every time a new one launches. So, what do you think? I mean, I'll be honest. Even with High Guard, if they submitted and put in a single player aspect and gave you backstory, that wouldn't save the game. This game is literally not finished. Okay, so much so that I don't know if the chat is up on. Yeah, see, it's not working today. I got to fix that chat. Maybe at the end of stream today. If you guys will bear with me near the end of stream, I'm going to try to get this like chat working again. Because I can't click on anyone's name to bring it up. I don't know what's happening. I don't know how to get it back into the actual thing. So we'll figure that out. But I did a clip the other day, right? Because me and Water Bear were going back and forth, and we were talking about how they finally put a 5v5, where 4 days in to a High Guard, and putting a 4v4 into High Guard is just silly. It's just funny, and silly to me because. Obviously, I mean, I played, 45 minutes? I think it was 45 minutes. About 45 minutes of High Guard. I watched Co-Carnage play it for about an hour and a half. I watched Kingard play it for about an hour and a half. I watched Shroud play it for about an hour and a half. I got about 6.5 to 7 hours of High Guard with the amount of time that I played with it. And it's just absolutely silly that all of a sudden they're doing a timed 5v5 inside of it. Is this it? Yeah, here it is. Right. This is the clip. This is a clip from me, from my video that I made 24 hours after High Guard released. Right. This is a 26-second clip of me saying exactly what they were going to do. Emergency changes. Here's my take. If the dev genuinely believed that High Guard was perfect, or even close, they wouldn't be preparing to change everything. But they will. They're going to tweak the pacing. They're going to adjust the mode. They're going to rebalance the system. They're probably going to rethink the player count. And they're going to do it fast. Not because players are toxic, but because retention numbers don't lie. Live service games don't get months to figure themselves out anymore. If people bounce in the first week, you don't get them back by telling them they're wrong. You fix your game. And this is the part that would need. And there you go. Right? That was a video on Tuesday, 24 hours right after High Guard came out on Monday, right? And obviously, anybody with two brains, or two eyes and a brain in between, okay, can tell that this game was not going to make it, and they had to make the changes real quick, okay? So here we are. All these people can write articles all they want. People can defend this game and be trash nights all they want. The game is not finished, and in one more week, when they come out with their 2-week update that they promised on the main stream that they came out with on Monday, they're going to make more changes, and people are going to come back and try to play this game and tell you that the metrics are so good. But people right now are really just playing the game because they don't really like the game, right? They want to defend the game because they're like, oh, it's the greatest game ever. Okay, well, here it is. Now, 11,000 in the last 24 hours. The 5v5 came out on Friday. It didn't change crap. Okay, there's the kick right there. The Friday people are like, oh, 5v5 is better, but it hit 15,000. That was the most it hit all weekend, which was on Saturday, and it's gone down since then. This game is going to hemorrhage players. It doesn't matter if they added story. It doesn't matter if they added, right? This game is 12 months to 18 months from where it's supposed to be, and unfortunately, in my humble opinion, it won't make it to the next Game Awards because it's just not going to make money. It's a free-to-play game, and even if all 6,000 people bought a microtransaction, that would keep them afloat for maybe another 2 months or so, but that's it. The only reason we'll see this game down the road, make it maybe the year, is because they already have the content made. It's in the pipeline, and which is smart of them because they can just release it whenever. Hence why the 5v5 was just implemented, because they're like, oh, it's there. They have the stuff that's there, but they didn't want to use it. They didn't want to blow their load, okay? They just wanted to keep back there and give you the most minimal viable product possible, and that's what they give, and that's what you get when you give the minimal viable product. You get the half-ass attempt from the actual player base to go, nah, we're good, okay? And they'll move on to the next game that's there, done, or even half done, but it's still at least better than the game that they're playing here, and they didn't pay full price for it. And they don't have to waste their time with another hero shooter that they can go play that they've owned for the last 8 years. But these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think about High Guard? Do you think High Guard will make it? Do you think the 5v5, one, they say it's a limited time, but obviously they're going to keep it, because if they get rid of the limited event, they're going to be like, it's so popular, we're going to keep it because we're listening to the community. That's going to happen as well. Okay? The fact that they put this in after and they just kept the 3v3, the 5v5 still shows the flaws in the actual game. It's not a complete game. The balancing is off, but yet at least it's better than 3v3. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. I can see chat, but I can't bring up chat on the actual screen. So, sorry about that. Morning, Winter Rose. What's up, Water Bear? All right. Aaron says, have you guys pre-ordered Resident Evil 9 Requiem Deluxe Edition, Fatal Frame 2 Remake Deluxe, or WWE 2K26? All three of those games I have no interest in. Let's see here. Eclipse says, the only game I might get day one is Crimson Desert, but I'm not pre-ordering it because they also got to prove to me that the game runs. We'll talk about that in a second. Krebsy says it's not as simple as a game needs PvE. The game needs innovation and popular IP, and it also can come in a form of PvE, and some snooze fest PvE mode will just let you feel like filler if I want a steak, not filler. If you're talking about Marvel Rivals, or you're just talking about in general, Krebsy, Marvel Rivals can just put the Blade PvE type of thing, and that would keep people from just getting burnt out from playing, the competitive stuff. Hence why I bounce back and forth between when they had the PvE and also the bot matches and stuff. If they kept bringing in story characters or story arcs for like Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, whatever, for all the characters, that would definitely keep people engaged with that game. Sarge says, if the money doesn't come out till release day, then day one purchase, not a pre-order. Altered says, but you are being toxic. The game is perfect, just as it is. Aaron says, I just pre-ordered those 3 games I mentioned. I know I got my ass scammed real bad, but I don't care. I love all these franchises, so they can all take all my money. I paid $318 after fees. I mean, you do you. Just remember, though, at least in my channel, if any of those games are bad, I don't give a shit. I don't want to hear from you. Because you shouldn't pre-order, you shouldn't buy day one, because you're not giving the people to hold them accountable. You're just taking it because you want to have fun, which you'll have fun regardless. But the companies need to know that they can't give a half-ass product. Just Enough says 5v5 is too chaotic, especially at the base rating. Well, that's because they just threw it in without testing it, but they didn't test the 3v3 either. So you've gone from super boring to chaotic, but chaotic's better than boring. What's up, Zargus? What's going on, Mo? Waterbear says 6,400 players with a peak of 97,000 just a week ago. I don't think the game will last a month, to be honest. It's just jumping off a steep cliff with no parachute. Sarge says, if you don't care about the being scammed, Aaron, then you are the Sony's golden boy consumer. That's right. Krebsy says, but 30 real devs made the game. We got to respect the time of the devs, and we don't know the respect. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We don't know the struggle they went through. Where the comments for movies, shows, books, and other fucking product. Right. We have to, whatever they did, you have to buy it. You have to buy it, Krebsy. You have to get the game, the book, the movie. You got to spend your hard-earned cash and time on things that are broke, buggy, and unfinished. Because the devs, they did the work. Or did they? Rourke says, Logard needs to keep the action up, having a 5-minute downtime where the loot is dumb. You know that. I know that. Chat knows that. But apparently the devs don't know that, Roic. Kyle says, I spent $20 on Hytale and haven't bought a game in months prior to that. Hytale's fantastic, and it's an early access. But that's the difference between Hytale and a AAA game that comes out that charges $70, $80 for a game that's also going to be like Hytale, where it's going to be updating and being finished over the next 12 to 18 months. Waterbear says, I don't pre-order games anymore. I just buy it day one. There's no point in doing the digital games. Digital when you know that they're also 80 gigabytes day one patch. Right. All right. Let's move on from that. And we'll go to... We're gonna go to Crimson Desert next. We're going to go to Crimson Desert next. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I just go over the news story, give you my thoughts and opinions, and then I get your thoughts and opinions in chat as well. All right. So from Forbes, from Paul Tassi, he says, some think that new Crimson Desert previews are too good to be true. My question is, I just popped in Space Marines 2 on Thursday, right? Thursday night. That game is 16 months old. And the graphics on PC look amazing, but I'm playing on console and they look also amazing. Now, is it 120 frames per second? No. Is it a standard and consistent 60 frames per second? No. But the game itself is immaculate. Like, you look at games like Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 8 years ago. Okay, you look at Space Marines 2 with the graphics they are, and it looks amazing, right? And something that Crimson Desert won't run or is just too good to be true because of the wide openness and what it is. And we watched the interview with Destin Liguri and interviewing, or we didn't watch it on stream, but I watched it afterwards, and it was good. Like, the guy's talking about it, and I guess he's the promoter of it. Now, in my circumstance, I'm not buying it pre-order. I'm not getting it day one. So if it comes out and it's not running correctly or doesn't look visually stunning or something goes wrong and it keeps crashing, I'm safe from that because I'm not giving the developer the money from just the advertisement. I'm going to give the money when it's proven, when the few play the game and then tell you, hey, this game is good. This game is great. And then, and only then, do I go, all right, reviews are good. People like it. It seems like a game I would like. Then I'll purchase it, right? It saves your time. It saves your money. Because why buy a game ahead of time when it can be broke, buggy, and unfinished? Why buy it day one when it can be broke, buggy, and unfinished? And then when the day one patch comes out, or the week one patch, or the month one patch, or the year one patch, okay, and they fix it 12 months, 18 months, 24 months from now, right? The more money they make up at the front, the longer you're going to wait for the game to be finished because they already got your money and they're already working on other things. So, again, it says something the new Crimson Desert previews are too good to be true. And maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. It is the most obvious forecast in the world to say Grand Theft Auto 6 should actually hit the fall release date this time. Will be far and away the biggest release of 2026 of the generation of the decade. I mean, probably of all time in terms of pure scope. But one game gaining steam will be out much sooner, and players are amazed by what they've been shown. So much that some don't actually believe it. And this is not because of what the game is, right? It's not because the game, as my voice cracks, okay? It's not because of the game itself. It's because of all the games that came before it. The Cyberpunks, right? The Battlefield 2042s, all these other games that come out that tell you that they're the next greatest game in the world, and then they fall way short because they're broke, buggy, and unfinished. Right? The game is Crimson Desert. Developer and publisher of Pearl Abyss, most famous for Black Desert Online originally, Crimson Desert was meant to be a prequel to Black Desert, but ultimately morphed into this own game, though keeping the closure of Desert theme. The game's previews show a sweep open world offering the elements of both Elder Scrolls and The Witcher, featuring 3 playable characters, none of them customizable, which is sort of Black Desert's whole thing. Okay, it says a new preview went up yesterday, already ranking up the 250,000 views and drawing widespread praise from fans. It doesn't exactly look like it's breaking the mold for open world fantasy games and taking elements from many. Just as one, as I mentioned, there's also been an entire sky-based landmass that feels extremely Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. I almost laughed at some of the preview videos because it was just such a basic RPG stuff, but that's kind of the point. But there's also a missile shooting mechs. Perhaps there's also more here than it seems. It says players have been missing out on something like this for ages now. We could reference The Witcher 3, but then that was 11 years ago. Skyrim was 15 years ago, and the last Dragon Age wasn't even close to something like this. So simply by showing up, looking good, and getting basic right, Pearl Abyss could be poised to have a huge hit on their hands. There's sort of a weird thread, though, all of this. Some fans saying that something feels off. And like all of this is too good to be true, especially from a studio in particular. The reference Black Desert Online as a game that's also in early previews looked like it would also be an MMORPG to end all MMORPGs. And we'll get to that in a second about MMORPGs. And while it was also a success ultimately, it wasn't that, certainly. The concern is that it's good as it looks. It may not quite feel the same when in practice. Okay. He says, I don't buy that. I have not seen any promotions for this. It feels like it's misleading. I suppose the game could control poorly or run poorly or have a bad story or end up being too generic. But I don't think there's some sort of trick going on here. These previews feel too elaborate for that. And that's not some cinematic or vertical slice of something. They're too close to release, which is out on March 19th across all platforms. Okay? And I think Paul makes a good point here. Okay? When you look at vertical slices, you get things like Cyberpunk 2077, where they were at conventions and different things, and they brought people into a certain room, and they're like, yeah, this is what it is. What this game is doing right now, they've shown a lot. They've shown multiple videos now of 10 to 15 minute long gameplay. And sure, that 10 and 15 long minute gameplay could be a vertical slice of that moment to sell the game and hype you up and stuff like that. You know, I've even said when they show like the ceiling height of where you're like flying in the air across the map. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's high. Like you can just fly across the entire map. And you can get to that mountaintop over there. And I'm looking at this going, it's too good to be true. But at the same time, it's not because the game's showing me that. Is because of the other games that came before it. All the other games that came before it that said certain things, you could do certain things. Todd Howard saying there's 1,000 planets in the solar system and it's endless things, and then it's really nothing. When Sean Murray with No Man's Sky was like, oh, it's open world and 18 quintillion planets, and we had to wait 8 years for No Man's Sky to be a No Man's Sky so we could say it's No Man's Sky, right? Like, all of these things. So when you look at this and you're like, I don't want to put my trust in a game like this. At the same time, like I said in the beginning of this, you don't have to give them the time of day. You can wait. But these guys have gone gold 2 months. 2 months before the game launches. That should be pretty ballsy right there to tell you that they're so confident in their game that they've gone gold 2 months ahead of time. 2 months, they're letting content creators and people get their hands on this game a month before launch so they can play it. Meaning they have pretty goddamn good confidence, in my opinion, in their game, regardless of what you think about Pearl Abyss and stuff like that. They might put microtransactions and stuff afterwards or during the actual game, whatever. Okay. But for a company to give the game 2 months before it's supposed to release gold, and then a month before that, give it to people so they can play it, so they can actually experience the game and then talk about it when the embargo lifts. That's pretty ballsy, considering that when the game comes out the day before or whatever, you're going to see plenty of content. You're going to see plenty of people talking about this game, plenty of people giving you their opinions about this game. So you, as a customer, shouldn't have a situation where you get, the wool pull over your eyes and giving you a game that's broke, buggy, and unfinished. Okay? The only time now that you get a broke, buggy, unfinished game is when you buy, pre-order, and buy day one without watching anything. You just buy it because you think it looks cool, but marketing is marketing, right? Think about a woman, okay, that you see some girl and she looks gorgeous. And then you start to get to know her. And then she starts not wearing makeup. And then you see the true person, not the person that was behind the makeup, right? The person behind the makeup is what you fell in love with because it looked great, right? But then you're like, the hell happened? It's because she took her makeup off, okay? That's what this is right here. Marketing is makeup. Makeup for the games, makeup for the movies, makeup for the book or whatever's out there, right? They try to put it in its best light possible. And then once you bought it, they pull off the makeup. They pull off the mask. It's a Scooby-Doo moment. Zoink, Scoob, right? You're like, what the hell did I buy? But it's too late then, because you only get a 2-hour window to return it. But a game like this takes some good 5 hours to get in before you're like, something's off about this game. So just don't buy it day one. Just don't pre-order it, okay? Because you're only hurting yourself, and you're only hurting all of us in the future with other games, because the reason we're skeptical of this game is because of other games that came before it that we weren't skeptical of. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Crimson Desert could be the greatest game in the last decade. But there's no reason to purchase it or pre-order it day one, because they'll make their money, make a game, sell a game. If the game comes out and it's a fantastic game, guess what? Word of mouth will spread. Word of mouth is the best marketing that you could get for any game. Because if your friend buys it and says it's good, you're going to buy it without anybody saying anything else. How many people in our Discord, when Water recommends a game, or Mo recommends a game, or Eclipse recommends a game, right, says something and they're like, hey, this is a really good game, I like it. You're like, all right, well, if you like it, I'll like it as well. It's just what it is, okay? Instead of blindly just buying a game and then going, the last game I bought really burned me. We don't need to do that anymore. But again, these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. What do you think about Crimson Desert? Is it too good to be true? And if so, are you holding off for the first week before you buy this game? Is this one of the games that you're buying if the average person only buys 2-3 games a year? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. What's going on, Roadkill? Jesse Mack says, just ain't trusting Crimson Desert game trailer. Yeah, it's a good trailer, but other hand, when a full game releases, I just know it would unfinish. And what we see, we get. Rogue says, just hoping that they have my car in Forza Horizon 6. Eclipse says it's just the first one, and they said they're going to do more. And they also have a PR guy talking to people, 40-minute interviews with Dustin. It's Destin. But what's the difference about Crimson is it has been shown for years now. They've also tested it, played it on everyone, and says the same thing. Remember, though, it's been, I think it was announced, 2017, 18? So it's been announced, or we've known about it for 8 years. That could be good or bad. Waterbear says, then you have Black Desert Online, which is basically the MMO version of Crimson, which was supposed to have the sequel to Black Desert Online. But I played Black Desert. It looked amazing to me. Oh, yeah. It's a crappy MMO, but it's visually stunning. We played it. Plus, it was free to play. So, Eclipse says, I'm just saying that people forgive Capcom of their microtransactions, so I think people will be all right. Mo says, still not buying it, but I think it will be like they say it is. Already told y'all, full purchase game is going to be the Tides of Annihilation. Roic says, for them to give it out a month ahead of time eases some of the concerns, but you never know until it's out for the wild. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We should never, right? Obviously, older gamers are more have more criticism than younger gamers. Younger gamers are like, it looks awesome, I'm going to buy it. And we were all there. We were all there. But then there's games that come along every once in a while that start to chip away at you, right? If it's the Divisions, if it's the Marvel's Avengers, if it's the No Man's Skies, if it's the Cyberpunks, if it's the Fallout 76s, right? Like, there's always a game that comes out that you're super hyped for. Whatever it is, whatever your favorite genre is, whatever the favorite IP is, and you buy it, and then all of a sudden you buy it and you're like, ugh, like something's off with it, right? Hey, Anthem, right? And it just starts to chip away at you. You like a game, and you can like any game, good game, bad game, whatever, but the game's not finished. Something's off about the game. And you're like, God damn it, right? And when you're younger, you're working, you're spending your money, and you're like, no big deal. But then you're like, you start to realize about your time, right? You buy No Man's Sky, and all of a sudden you buy it, and you're like, it's not complete. And the next game you buy in 2017 is Destiny 2. And then you're like, it's just not complete. Then 2018 comes out, you buy Battlefield or Battlefront 2, and you're like, it's just not complete. Then you buy the next Call of Duty, and you're just like, it's just not. Just little by little, it just chips away at you. And then 5, 6, 7 years later, you're like, I'm not falling for this again. I'm not falling for this again, right? That's the way it is. The older you get, the more cynicism kicks in, and you're like, I'm not going to buy that again. I'm going to wait. Because you realize if you wait, it's cheaper, and it's more complete. I was having a conversation with Travis in Discord, right? My problem with Space Marines 2 was never that the game looked bad. Never that the game looked bad. It was them saying that they're not making a live service game, right? They've said that Space Marines 2 is not a live service game. But then yet, after they say it's not a live service game, every 3 months they drop a new thing. A new character, new game mode, new maps, whatever it is, right? So at that moment, especially in the very beginning, when you have a roadmap before the game comes out, that tells me if you use your roadmap to advertise your game, that tells me your game is not finished. If you come out with a game, no roadmap, no announcement of expansion, free expansion, just if it's paid DLC, cool. Okay. But if you announce the game and your roadmap before that game even comes out, then that game is not done. It's not. Okay. They decided to take that game, break it up, and slowly drip feed it because they know they have to compete. Because if Space Marines 2 was just done, people would have played it and never talked about it again. They'd be like, it's a great game. But now that Space Marines 2 has new characters, new horde mode, new maps, new whatever, it stays current. Every 3 months, you're like, here's an update, right? Every month. No Man's Sky stays current, right? But then they all start taking tolls on you because every game is always getting updated all the time. Just this past week, Hytale's got updates, and No Man's Sky had updates, and then Enshrouded had updates, and all these other people. Mr. Z, thank you very much.
479 celebrates 28 months of membership, or man got caught sleeping on the job. Happy Monday, everyone. Stay warm.
Thank you, Mr. Z, for the continued support. Guys, if you didn't know, Mr. Z just had a birthday. So go wish him a happy birthday in chat. Right? So So all of these games just keep updating, right? Like every Tuesday, update for Fortnite, update for Marvel Rivals, update for your favorite MMO, right? World of Warcraft, all ESO. All of these just start to boom, boom, and you're just like, I'm done with it. Helldivers, Warbond, Overwatch, new character, Marvel Rivals, new character, No Man's Sky, right? ESO, whatever it is. And it just starts to take the toll little by little by little. You feel overwhelmed. So I think Crimson Desert is going to be a fantastic game. But at the same time, just wait. Nothing happens if you wait. If anything, you save money. Or time, which is kind of more important than money. It's definitely more important than money. Time is definitely more important than money. All right. Let's see. We could talk about the article first. Yeah, let's talk about the article first. And then we'll watch BigFryTV's video. Okay. Yeah, Roic. Yeah. Division 2 just is updating, and they're also putting more stuff in. They're putting a survival mode in the game down the road as well, right? They're just constantly updating games, regardless of it is. And as a gamer, you're like, it's a great time in gaming. They just keep updating games. Sure, but you paid for that game 4 years ago, and you're still getting updates, meaning you paid full price for that game, right? And of course, there's always an outlier. There's always an outlier, right? You're like, yeah, but I've been playing for the last 8 years. Cool. But then there's games that come out and they're $80 now. Right? Did they update Mario Kart yet? I have no idea. Right? You pay $8 for Mario Kart. And are they doing free updates? Free updates means that stuff that was in the game that they didn't finish in time, so they put it later. I don't know if Mario Kart's going to have it.
Something does happen if I wait. I'll get FOMO, rolling on the floor laughing emoji, rolling on the floor laughing emoji, JK.
I did not know that the laughter sideways like that is rolling on the floor. I didn't know that. Thank you very much for the $2, Aku. Yeah, something does happen. You get FOMO. FOMO. The new DLC is an extra $25. For which game? For Division 2? Oh, paid DLC. $25? And I think, personally, if it's a DLC that's $25, if you're a fan of Mario Kart and you want more stuff of Mario Kart, and they didn't announce the DLC when the game came out, you know what I'm saying? Then cool. If you like it, then buy the DLC and pay for the DLC. But when you buy these games full price and they're like, oh yeah, we're updating it throughout the year. No, I'll just wait a year. I'll wait a year. Sarge, I didn't either. And now I know. And knowing is half the battle. That's right. I have that. And oh, here it is.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Jesse says, in my opinion, Division 3, if they make it, don't be good. Don't be good, since the guy went to EA. We talked about that conversation when Julian moved over because Vince Zampella passed away. He moved over from Division to, I don't think Battlefield's going to be better, and I don't think Division's going to be better. Not to say that Julian's not a good guy. I just don't think going from Whack Company to this company, it's good for EA, but I don't think it's going to be great for the studio. Unless he comes over trying to make Battlefield again. But if he comes in to do other people's bidding to make Battlefield into what their vision of Battlefield is, then that's a problem. Mr. Z says, no FOMO here. Play what you like, enjoy others, play everything else until you are ready. Issue handled. Well, no, there is a problem, Z. It's not about the fear of missing out. It's about people paying for something when the company pulls one over on you, right? It's like a swindler, a person that tricks you into buying something that's broke, but we're about to talk about that with the next thing. When a company tries to manipulate you to buy something that's broke, buggy, and unfinished, you can like it. That's not the problem, right? The problem is people buying something that's broke, buggy, and unfinished hurts the industry as a whole. Because like I said before, it doesn't matter if you like it, okay? It matters that it's not finished. And when a company sells a game and it's not finished and they make shit ton of money and then they fix it 18 months to 24 months later, that's a signal to the rest of everybody else. They're like, hey, you see what they did? We can also release an unfinished game and make full price on it. So it's not as just easy as play what you want, enjoy others, play everything. It's just think about it for a second. Is this game finished? And would you know if it was finished the day after it comes out instead of buying it 2 days of pre-orders before? Jack says, 30, which studio made the better Star Wars games and should they have made Outlaws? I mean, the best Star Wars game is Star Wars Battlefront 2. But the microtransactions is what ruined that game. Nothing else. Eclipse says, yeah, that's why I'm just waiting for Monster Hunter Wilds expansion pack. Apparently they fixed it on PC, but just get it with the expansion pack and get it cheaper. Right. Jesse Mack says, 30, Star Wars Outlaws is getting a new novel book next month. Yeah, it's a prequel, right? I saw that on Twitter. It's a prequel to the game. Krebsy says everyone who's playing Division 2 has been asking for Avatar and Assassin's Creed cosmetics. Survival, forget about it. Saint says good morning. Morning. Just Nuff says can't avoid the FOMO when half the games are rotating content in and out. Yeah, because once the frog is in the pot, Robert, right? Once the frog's in the pot, you're constantly conditioning people. You're just slowly turning up the dial. If it's that company or 5 companies all doing the same thing, you just slowly turn the knob. All right, let's go to the next thing. So 2 days after promising it's still worthy of your investment, the most successful Kickstarter MMO ever was canceled and its team laid off. The developers and staff acted in good faith and deserved better. Okay, sifting through the ashes of creation. So early access of MMO Ash of Creations reportedly ceased development, and the entire team behind the studio has been laid off, with nearly $3.3 million raised in 2017. And by the way, $3.3 million raised, that's like nothing, by the way. That's a lot of money for us. That's nothing for development cycle. Ash of Creations was a crowd-funded platform, most successful MMO fundraiser, and one of the most successful video game campaigns overall. On Saturday, January 31st, the game's official Discord was abuzz around rumor firings, resignations, and the community lead, Crone, revealed that she had been laid off on LinkedIn and replied to the comment on the post. Crone wrote, quote, I don't know how they would make it when the heart and soul of the product, the amazing dev team, was all laid off. Right? The founder and former creative director, Stephen Sheriff, offered a more explanation in the face of a panic and speculations on Discord server. He says, quote, I can make a limited statement in my personal capacity and not on behalf of the company regarding the situation. He says, quote, control of the company shifted way away from me, and the board began directing acts that could also not ethically agree on with or carry out. As a result, I choose to resign to protest rather than lend my name to authority of decision. I would not ethically support following my resignation, much as the senior leadership team resigned following those departures, and the board made the decision to issue WARN Act notices and proceeded with the mass layoff. It says, quote, I cannot responsibly speak to further details at this time due to the ongoing legal and governance matters. What I can say is that the developers and the staff acted in good faith and deserved better and uncertainty that they are now facing. I'm incredibly dismayed by the situation. The cancellation follows 5 years of closed backer alphas growing discontent among players, or discontent amongst players. And the number of core issues that appear to have grown acute in the past year. Ashes of Creation has not doing well, but all signs point to the final cancellation layoff decision having been shockingly abrupt. Okay, on January 29th, the director letter of the citizens has shared on the Ashes of Creation website the post acknowledgement long smearing issues like bots, cheating bugs, and poor performance, but promised a continued commitment to building something ambitious, durable, and worthy of the investment. Intrepid announced that on February 13th, the development update stream would walk through a Q1 plans to outline the next steps of Ashes of Creations. Vera is still growing, post concludes. He says, quote, "We remain deeply committed to making the world worthy of your time. Your stories of the belief of the director's letter and title implies Sheriff's authorship, but he signs off as being some of Ashes of Creation's team. This letter, plus the rapid delusion of layoff news on the evening of January 31st, reads to me like a team was still working and planning on the future right up to the point the resignations and layoffs. But even before, even more recent issues with Ashes of Creations appeared troubled. It's been 9 years since the Kickstarter funded, and 5 since the first playable alpha formed in PCG guides. Okay, player-driven systems were not even yet coming together in the alpha and found Ashes of Creations lacking in clear direction. Even earlier from form of PCG reported Steve Messer, Ashes of Creation ambitious promises while also crowdfunding had also called attention to the referral marketing program, which is also running a breach of Kickstarter terms of service. Regardless, put effort of the manpower into making the game more than a decade. Sheriff's LinkedIn page shows him founding the company in 2015. Ashes of Creation's ultimate demise appears tied to familiar fallings of over-ambition, lack of direction, and continuous leadership between creatives and profit-driven investors. Regarding that last point, I'm also left wondering what the unethical measures by the board were also the final straw for Sheriff. Steve's conclusion of its own investigation 9 years ago feels strangely persistent now, as there also potential for something great, but the risks feel greater too, he wrote. Anyone thinking supporting Ashes of Creation prior launch, whether through Kickstarter or any other means, should think carefully before proceeding. Now, is that funny? This is the guy that works for the company. Okay, he was taking your money, no problem, right? But now he's like, anybody that's on Kickstarter is thinking about carefully before proceeding. This is all I do. On my stream, I tell you, just be careful before proceeding in buying a game on pre-order day 1 or week 1. Just hold off, because if you didn't purchase this, you would still have your $300. Okay, now I get it. You want to buy a game and play the game because you think you're supporting the developers, right? I do it all the time. But there's a difference between $20 and $300. Okay, big difference. Okay, Hightail, $20, right? $20, $25, whatever it is. Right? I buy early access all the time, but at least I know ahead of time, hey, early access, cheaper price. They tell you that we're still working on it. This is a red flag right off the start. If you're asking for $300 alpha keys, and we talked about this when they did it, I was like, $300? I was like, you don't even know that game is coming out, which is just crazy to me. Right? So even the guy who was scamming people basically is telling you think carefully before proceeding. Just amazing. Mr. Z says, Pirate Software bought it at $300 plus, had fun playing for years, hoping, but yikes, the story will roll out. Very interesting. That's a problem. Do you see that's a problem, Mr. Z? All the other stories out there that now there's companies that are like, wait a minute, these guys made that much money and they didn't have to deliver a full game? There's people right now going, I have an idea for a game. I can make a game with AI. We can make it look amazing. We can get money up front. This is exactly why you have to do your due diligence, right? Again, I have a cow pasture out here. Okay, right now it's nice and cold, right? You could literally pick up a frozen piece of cow turd and fling it in the air like a fucking discus and shoot it with a gun. And boy, that's fun. But guess what? You're still playing with shit. Okay? You're still playing with shit. They say they never mentioned the board for over 5 years. Bizarre. Like 3 million raised. Yikes. All Kickstarters are inherently risky. Buyer beware. Krebsy says Star Citizens in the corner wishing the light doesn't get shined on them. They're over $1 billion. They're over $1 billion. Just Enough says that shit sounds fun. It is fun. Warbird says he learned from the best scammers ever, the team behind the day before. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, but they didn't make any money. They didn't make any money. These guys made money. All right, let's go to the video now, because BigFry apparently put a whole, I guess he's been following this, right? I saw his tweet, and here's the video. It's 19 minutes long. BigFry has got 70,000? No, 345,000. 70,000 is the views. 82,000 is the views. BigFryTV, 344,000 subscribers. He doesn't need my help, but we're going to watch his video because he's been following the situation for quite a bit. He's got a video. Want to hear it? Here we go. So on, Dirty Bear. Dirty Bear says, never buy a game before patch 1.0. And if Bethesda holds off till 2.0, paying the price for flipping alpha build and beta. Well, what's the saying about the fool and the money? That's right. Argus says, well, originally the Ashes of Creation creator was going to fund the whole thing himself. Guess he saw just how much MMO development cost. Well, here's the thing, and I've talked about Hightail, and I'm having fun with Hightail, but I also told people to be cautious with it because Hightail was done in 2021, and then it was sold to Riot Games, and then Riot Games now sold it back to Simon, and Simon has it, and now there's building it up, right? There could be a time when Hightail, 8 months from now, 12 months from now, all of a sudden does this pays for mods or pays for microtransactions and whatnot instead of just selling the game. And that could come. And I could have fun from this point to that point, and then I could never play it again because they ruined the game. Okay? But it's early access, and I tell people, you know, if this is a game that you like, it's a fun game, but at the same time, it's early access. Know what you're getting yourself into. Right? The problem is, now that I've bought Hightail, if they change it in a way where it completely ruins the game, I'm not going to bitch that I paid $20 for it and they ruined the game. I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not going to sit here and bitch and go, I can't believe they ruined the game, right? I had fun the time I was playing the game, but then they had the investors come in and they fucking ruined it, right? Now, again, I don't know if Hightail's going to do that, right? But all the people that come in and say, well, I'm going to buy the game day one. I bought it pre-ordered. I did all this. Great. Don't come in here when we're having a conversation and give us your 2 cents of, well, I got burned on this game when you came in and you like flaunted that you pre-ordered and whatever. Cool. If you're having fun, have fun. I wonder if Kickstarter will step in and see if these causes legitimate taking money of the project. No, they won't. It's happened multiple times, Jax, with other things. People make inventions all the time, and it's if they run with the money, you're shit out of fucking luck. That's what happens at Kickstarter. All right, let's watch this.
For everybody who was a part of that upper management and on that upper team, go fuck yourselves as well.
I like how this video is starting off already. That's right. Upper management is most of the problems in most of these games that come out broke, buggy, and unfinished. Not the devs. Not the devs. The upper management says, no, we're going to ship it regardless.
Because every single one of you knew what the fuck was going on. You tried to recoup as much as you possibly could from the Steam fucking community so that you could at least try to make out even. You guys are absolute pieces of shit.
Sounds good. I'm excited about this one.
One of the most anticipated MMORPGs in modern times, Ashes of Creation, a game that took in over 3...
We all know what the nickname of this game is going to be now, right? Chat, we all know what the... What? Come on, throw it in chat. Throw it in chat. What's this game going to be called now? Ash of Creation is now called... Insert name. Come on, let me see what you got.
All y'all complaining about Star Citizen but ignore games like this that crash and become actual scams. At least I can go play SC right now.
That's true. Still an unfinished game, though. Still an unfinished game. 12 years? 12 years in running? Eclipse says ass of creation. Altair says just ashes. Jack says ash of no creation. Asses of creation. Waterbear says Concord 4, ass of creation. That's right. Asses of burnation. Ashes of cash. Yep. Red. Jesse Max says Redfall. That's funny. That's funny.
$1 million in crowdfunding on Kickstarter and tens of millions through key sales on their website is shutting down. Not only are they shutting down, but as of February 2nd, 2026, all employees of Intrepid Studios, the scammers...
Do we think that Ashes of Creation could have a hightail situation where the studio gets tossed down and a couple of months from now, they buy the name back from the company and they continue to make the game? And if they do, does the people that are pissed off right now that did the Kickstarter and the funding and stuff like that, do they all of a sudden turn back for goodwill? What do you think?
Behind the game are laying off every employee at the studio, and due to the dire financials of the company, aren't able to process the payroll as of February 1st. So employees are laid off without pay, a community that has been left high and dry, and a game with over 12 years of development is now dead.
What do they do with the money? Burn through it, but where's the investors? Where's the investors that were putting this through?
This may be one of the biggest blunders in gaming history, and I want to go over what the hell happened.
Well, no, they wouldn't work for free, Argus. They wouldn't work for free. Like Hightail, the man got the money. He put his own money up front or got investors or whatever he's doing. Okay, so the devs are making money. If you're doing a game by yourself and you're an independent developer and you put your house up for mortgage like Cuphead did, and that's what that's working for free, cool. But a game like this, MMOs need a lot of money. They need a lot of fucking money to run. Right? How many guys were working on Ashes of Creation? Hundreds? 100?
How we got here, and I want to make the case for why I think this is one of the biggest scams in gaming history, and how Intrepid Studios...
Is this the biggest scam in gaming history? I don't know. I guess it could be up there. Maybe I'll do a video on that. The biggest scams in video game history.
Pulled the rug out from every single backer of the game.
Roic, that's actually not a bad idea, right? I can see Xbox picking this up. If Xbox took this and said, hey, we'll put this on Game Pass or whatever, they pick it up. They have endless money that just keeps coming in from places. Maybe they could give them. Who knows?
Let's start with how we got here. Intrepid Studios has been developing Ashes.
Mr. Z says, I heard 100 plus artists, 60 some engineers, and 9 Q&A. So 160. 160, we'll just say 170, 180 people. 180 people. Average salary, what, 100 grand? Right? 100 grand a piece on average, let's say, just to make the math easier. So you got 100 grand times 180, right? That's $18 million a month times 12, which is $216 million a year, times 5, which is $1 billion. Yeah. They've burned through quite a bit of cash. Again, I don't know if it's $100,000 on average, but they're in California, right? $2 million or so a month. It's got to be way more than that.
of creation for over
Hell, even if they made 50, let's just say 50,000. Right? 50,000 times 180. That's $9 million a month. They've only raised $3 million. Oh, I'm sorry. That'd be a year. That'd be a year. I'm sorry. I'm taking their salary and doing it. It's for the year. I'm crazy. Okay. So it's 50. Stop it. Stop it. I'm okay, chat. I'm okay. 50,000 a year. 50,000 for the year times 180. It's $9 million a year times how many years? 5 years? So $45 million. $45 million. My mistake. Sorry about that. I was timesing it by the months and not the fucking years. So $45 million this game is cost. They raised $3 million. Right? They raised $3 million on Kickstarter. That's nothing. That's nothing. That gets them through a couple of months. That's crazy.
12 years. It's an MMO that harkens back to the old school MMORPGs that put community first, creating a living, breathing, reactive world where your choices in game can shape the future of the server.
I was looking forward to this game when it launched because it reminded me a lot of when they pitched it. It reminded me a lot of Star Wars Galaxies with the player-driven economy, building the world around it and stuff like that.
That you're playing on. It was an incredibly ambitious title being funded by Steven Sharif, a multi-millionaire MMO player with zero game dev experience who made his start being recruited to an MLM.
As he disclosed in the post of Ash Creation's subreddit, Sharif made a fortune at a young age thanks to selling nutritional drinks and evaluated became involved in Zango, a well-known multi-level marketing company that also sells a host of wellness juices, supplements, and eventually he went on to become involved in investment in the real estate, which he attributes to the source of majority of his success.
Company named Zango. Oh, fuck. Editing Big Fry here. I need you guys to remember Zango because this story just got a whole lot crazier as I'm editing this together. He had dreams of creating his own MMO, and to his credit, he went out and built a studio filled with
I mean, fantastic, right? Put your money where your mouth is. You want to make the greatest MMO, and he kind of built it. I mean, it's there for 5 years. He was building it.
Industry talent with the hopes that they can create a game that takes him back to the glory days of when MMORPGs were on top. In interviews around the Kickstarter launch, Sharif explicitly stated that the project was primarily financed by himself, not dependent on external crowdfunding to keep going. And even with those statements, the game went on to raise over $3 million.
19,576 backers. Still more than Highguard.
In crowdfunding back in 2017 via Kickstarter. And after that successful Kickstarter, Intrepid then sold alpha packages on their storefront for years, with that package costing around $500.
What? $500? You guys said it was $300. $500 for alpha? What?
To first buy in. Now, the Kickstarter was meant to build a community, and
if you're putting $500 into a fucking video game before it launches, you better be getting kickback back in because you're now an investor. Right? You're investing your money into this thing. You're not a customer. You're an investor.
Not fund the project, according to Sharif. In an interview with MMORPG back in 2021, Steven is quoted by saying that they're not governed by greedy corporate overlords. They're funding this.
We're not governed by corporate overlords. I'm funding the project, so no investors on the board to answer to, no publishers to appease. We speak with not to our community, but actually listen to feedback and value, respect our players. What happened? What happened? What happened?
Project, so no investors or a board to answer to, no publishers to appease. We speak with, not to, our community, and we actually listen and value and respect our players. Now this kind of value and respect our players. Now this kind of talk really solidifies trust in the gaming public. Nobody to answer to, no corporate overlords, no bullshit just Intrepid Studios and the community that it wants to build. And similar sentiments were also shared about the Alpha 1 packages on the website. Keep in mind, those Alpha 1 packages were being sold on the site for $500 a piece.
That's crazy. And do you know why they did that? Do you know why they did that? I guarantee you they did that because Star Citizen did what they did. And this, I don't know that for a fact, but because Star Citizen was charging hundreds of dollars for their ships or whatnot, they were like, why not? Right? What they have, 19,500 and whatever? If each one of those 19,000 people backed for whatever, that's like $9 million.
It's not about funding. It's about building a community and bringing people in that are truly dedicated to providing
yada, yada, yada. All the same shit. We're listening. We hear you. It's about the community.
all of the feedback. Fuck off. Now, I fully
Agreed, Big Fry. Agreed.
believe that at the beginning of this journey, that was absolutely true. But something shifted a few years back when he seemingly went back on his word of not continuing those alpha packages. Keep in mind, at one point in time, the Alpha 1 packages on the website were pulled down. You couldn't buy into it. And that was it. And that was this whole like, we don't need your money. Trust us. We're not selling copies. He then went back on his word and opened up Alpha 2 and beta packages on their website, with Alpha 2 costing upwards of $250.
Oh, that's what it is. So Alpha 2 was $250. We don't need your money. We don't need it. Then shortly after, he puts back up the $250 for people to because guess what? Upper management doesn't know how to use money. Right? These people would win the lottery and burn through the cash before they even got the ticket to the thing to get the money. That's what these people are. People like this would grab the ticket and say, I won the lottery. They would spend the money before they even give the ticket. That's the people they hire.
Piece. More and more people started to ask questions about that fully funded quote, and it felt like a studio that was getting a bit desperate for cash. Alpha 2 keys being sold for $250, and one forum post estimates around 100,000 keys being sold.
$250 times 100,000.
So that's an estimated 25 million USD. But the thing is none of these numbers are public. You know, I know a lot of people are looking at Ashes of Creation and they're going to look over the fence and say, yeah, look at what's about to happen to Star Citizen. At the very least, Star Citizen posts all of that publicly so you know exactly how.
Very true. That is true. Star Citizen puts it out there publicly so you know what they're spending.
Much money they're getting away with. We don't even know how much money was stolen from the Ashes of Creation community.
So this is not just $3 million. This is, we're talking, they could have made like $40 million that they just stole from people. Because if they made $25 million off 100,000 people at $250, how many did they sell? Because Kickstarter is different than what they sold the alpha keys for afterwards, right?
And I say stolen because what just transpired over the last 60 days was one of the biggest rug pulls that I've ever seen in the gaming space, even more so than the day before.
But that's the thing, right? Just enough where if you've never been burned before, you just want a game, man. You just want to throw this shit up in the air and shoot it with a gun, right? You just want to have fun, right? But all of a sudden, hold on.
Ashes of Creation. Second worst MMO ever. It's been very bad, but not as bad as Dequo. Dequo was made by Hillary. That's why it's so bad.
Let me translate a little bit here. First of all, I love the Trump voice, right? Trump Ashes of Creation's second worst MMO ever. It's bad, very bad, but not as bad as DC Universe Online. DC Universe Online was made by Hillary. This is why it was so bad. Dequo. Yeah, Dequo. They basically, they stole all this money, right? They stole all this money, and the people that put their money towards it, all of a sudden now, Jones, are like, I'm never doing this again. I'm never going to like another game again. Okay, because if they now another MMO comes out, it starts to talk to them, right? They're like, oh man, we got building, economy in the game. Oh, this is gonna be the next greatest. They're like, nah, I got burned on Ash of Creations, right? So now these people that got burned will never purchase another game again for pre-alpha or alpha or beta. They're like, nope, learn their lesson. Cool, right? That's where I'm at, basically, right? Not because I invested $500 into a game that didn't come out, because I played games over and over, and they told me that $60 or $70 or $80 or $100 was the game, and then it comes out, and it's not. Aku says DC Universe Online is no longer DC Universe Online, is now Dequo. I'm going to make a song about it. I'll make a song about it.
4. On November 14th, 2025, Ashes of Creation released a press statement announcing that the current Alpha 2 experience, keep in mind $250 to buy into it, was then going to Steam Early Access on December 11th. With a convoluted account linking process for those who bought the game on the website previous to link to Steam to then get access to the game. And the game was launching on Steam Early Access for $50. Now, at that time, I made a video on my second channel where I said this. If I could be honest with you guys, like, I've seen so many MMOs come and go that, like, my automatic, like, go-to mentality is, yeah, okay.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. That's where I am with most games now, right? I'm exactly what BigFry just said about MMOs. When they talk about the MMO, because of what Sony did to Star Wars Galaxies, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. We'll see it when it's done. You hear Sarge say it all the time on GXG. We'll see it when it's done.
Like, we'll see how long this lasts, you know, because they're all flashes in the pan. But I hope that there's a good enough showing at launch that it won't just die instantly. So
it is nice when you say something like that and it's recorded and you're like, I remember saying shit like that. It's not a look at me, I got it right. It's that he thought of it, said it out loud, right? And now it came true because he knows this is experience, right? He's not Nostradamus. I'm not Nostradamus, right? You say things because you're like, this happened in the past and it's a pattern. It repeats itself.
The press release also stated that early access will continue until the game reaches the level of quality, stability, and content breadth that we'd expect for launch. There is no fixed end date. The roadmap ahead includes progressing from Alpha 2 into Beta 1, then Beta 2.
I love how it's not just Alpha anymore and then Beta. It's Alpha 1, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, Alpha 4, Beta 1, Beta 2, right? Whatever. Fucking make a game, sell a game.
And eventually a full release once we feel Ashes of Creation delivers the experience our community deserves.
You should not charge anything until it's an early access. Early access is like a year away, right? Early access is like 12 to 18 months away. And if you want to charge something, you could charge, I would say, $20, 20 or less. 20 or less for an early access game. Right? You want to make some money off of it, right? But you better not fucking put a microtransaction store.
So that was a fucking lie. But the wording of everything that we're reading here matters for what's going to transpire down the line, trust me. As someone who also released a game in December, our first game actually, I know that this week, Steam sent payments out to every developer for the month of December. I received ours for Transients on the 28th. 3 days after those payments cleared on Saturday, January 31st, Steven Sharif claims that control of the company shifted away from him. He said this in Discord of all places. Control of the company shifted away from him, leading to board-directed actions he could not ethically agree with or carry out. Remember that interview in 2021 where he said there's no board and...
Yeah. Well, he made a deal. He made a deal because look, and I don't actually know what happened, but here's why I think it went down a little bit. Are you ready? They made a crap ton of money. He used that money for something else. Okay. And then because he used that money to make something else or overspend and didn't budget it or whatever happened, he had to find more investors. Even though he was getting money from the community, even though he's getting from early access and beta or whatever you want to call it. Okay. And then the board of directors was like, yeah, I'll give you money, but you have to give me control of it. And he was like, okay, thinking that this is what we need, right? Upper management destroys video games because they're not about the game. They're not about the game.
Nobody to answer to except for the community. That was also a fucking lie. His subsequent resignation, he said, was in protest of these decisions, preventing him from lending his name or authority to policies he deemed unethical. No idea what the fuck he's talking about unless this random board of directors that didn't exist back then now exists now, and they're just choosing.
Maybe he played a poker game and lost the company in that. I don't know.
To lay everybody off as soon as the Steam payment cleared. I don't know. Who's this board? You literally went on a press run like 4 years ago saying there was no board to answer to, but now the board took control of your company. Now shout out to OnePeg for getting me this information. When you search up the company on the California registry and you look at this information that was filed December 30th, 2025, so for your end of year, I'm gonna have the addresses of the pertinent people blurred out. I don't want privacy complaints. But what's weird is there's only one director listed on the company.
Very odd. Very odd. So we go deeper into the rabbit hole.
And that's you. There's two officers because there is a chief financial officer who's John Moore, which, by the way,
Just Enough says he clearly lost the company in a bet over a game of High Guard.
after this, I hope you don't fucking get hired anywhere else. But the number of vacancies on the board of directors is 0. There's one person listed on the board of directors. Who's this board? Now,
What if he was just done? What about if and again, I'm just speculating about stuff, just saying stuff. We're just brainstorming here, chat. What if the guy who's complaining about all this and the board of directors and whatnot, what if he's just done? What about if he just woke up one morning and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just going to fucking close the studio down. I don't want to look like the asshole, so I'm going to pretend a board is what happened, and I don't want to tarnish my name, so I'm going to do this and set up this whole thing. I mean, we've seen weirder. We've seen people stage their own fucking, deaths and shit in real life. So this wouldn't be a surprise in any way, shape, or form if they tried to project in one way, right? Right, Altair? Right. Yeah. Or, so you can see it. Because if there's no board of directors, which he's showing the paperwork, there is no board of directors, and he's saying the board of directors and tarnish his name and he wants to get separated from that, maybe he's just done with it. Maybe he's just like, you know what? This is way too fucking hard. Oh, you mean after the check's cleared? That's right. Just Enough says he's either lying or actually got outsed. Gamers suffer either way. Foolish investors suffer. His wife caught him cheating and told him that she wanted the money or she would also ruin him. Is he married? I don't know.
This is where it gets real fucking juicy, because when you look up Intrepid Studios and the California Secretary of State UCC filings.
Oh, look at this. Wait a minute. Intrepid Studios, secured party info. Okay. You have different names, right? Then you have, hey, Longwood, Florida. Look at that. That's close to me, guys. Longwood's close to me. It's about 20 minutes away from me, 25 minutes away from me. I used to live in Altamont Springs, and that was right. That's like over there. Okay. That's where like EA Studios and stuff was. Longwood and Maitland and stuff like that. Right? But then here it says terminated. 2022 terminated.
You can see here that on January 14th, 2026, the new debt owner of the studio was assigned to one Karen L. Boreyko, who, if you guys don't know who Karen Boreyko is, she was a key person, a co-founder of a company called Vema, who is a multi-level marketing company.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So he lost or did something to lose to lose it, right? Because 2021, he was in Sacramento. Okay, then it was terminated in Sacramento in 2022. Then it was picked back up in Longwood, Florida by Robert Dawson, which then took it by Yaya Legacy Trust in 2025.
Studio was assigned to one Karen L. Boreyko, who, if you guys don't know who Karen Boreyko is, she was a key person, a co-founder of a company called Vema, who is a multi-level marketing company that sold dietary supplements. Now, why does that sound familiar? Because Steven worked at a company called Zango, and both of these companies have been investigated for fraud.
Bro, you can't make this shit up. Do you see what happens here, chat? People think that gaming is just as simple as you buy a game, you play the game, and you move on. No. This is why my channel exists. My channel exists to talk about stuff like this, to talk about the industry, about people. I used to get my ass, try to get my ass kicked when I was a kid, when I played video games, because nobody played fucking video games. Okay? Now everyone plays video games. Everybody plays video games. They literally talk to celebrities and other people about what games you're playing. Okay? There's people that play games or know about games because they want to make a shit ton of money. Okay? These people are not gamers, right? These people are wolf in sheep's clothing. They're like, we can make a lot of money. I got money. I can spend money on here. Okay? There's so many people that don't give two shits about the business, about the thing, right? It's like the movie industry, but 10 times worse.
And mismanagement of funds. In 2013, Zango founder Brian Davis filed lawsuits accusing his partners of spying, threatening employees, falsifying distributor positions, and
that's because they're greedy. All of what he's reading right now is because of greed.
Embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars of assets from the company. Zango was then subsequently shut down, as well as Vema, who was shut down in 2015 by the FTC.
So he made his money off of that, and now his cash ran out. The well went dry.
Filed a lawsuit against the company, freezing their assets and seeking injunctive relief, and that the Boreyko family had inappropriately incorporated dozens of companies within the same staff and commingled funding. So now the person who owns the debt of Ashes of Creation in California is somebody that I'm guessing Steven had met through his MLM days.
Exactly.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So while Steven might not be talking about like a board of directors, he might be.
And of course, none of this matters. None of this matters if the game came out and you could play it. Right? You know what I'm saying? None of this matters if the game was just made and sold. But it matters now because they took money and ran. You paid money for a thing that you didn't get. And there's no difference between what this man's doing here, not BigFryTV, but the guy who actually owned Ashes of Creations, and a person making a AAA game, AA game, single A game, independent game that tries to put it out right now and it's broke, buggy, and unfinished and wants to get money for it.
Be talking about, the people that he took investment from, this Vema lien that was placed on the studio on January 14th of this year, still doesn't explain what he's fucking talking about when it comes to these unethical decisions that were made. It just kind of sounds like you're fucked and out of money. Following his departure, much of the senior leadership team also resigned. So there's no upper management.
No upper management. And then he can't hire another management because if he hires another person, he has no money. So then he takes the responsibility onto himself, right? Again, speculation here. The upper management leaves. He's taking on the whole role now. He knows nothing about video game design. He just wanted to make an MMO. So then he just starts putting more pressure on himself, right? Doesn't have the money, doesn't have the management, just keeps making the devs, keeps lying to the devs' faces that are making the game. Hey, man, great work. We're doing this. We're going to do an update. They're supposed to do an update in like 11 days. They're supposed to do an update in like 11 days. Guess that's not going to happen, huh?
They're all gone. The resignations were quickly followed by widespread confirmation of mass layoffs. If you guys don't know who Margaret Crone is, she is Intrepid's long-standing director of communication. She posted on LinkedIn that her time with the studio has ended, stating that the amazing dev team was all laid off. Everybody's gone 3 days after the Steam payment clears. Got it. The situation deepened with reports of a work.
I don't know that answer just enough. I don't know if it's still operational right now. Like, we're in the middle of what the shit storm's happening. They announced it yesterday, and today's today. Or 2 days ago, they announced it.
Worker adjustment and retraining notification, or a WARN Act. According to Theory Forge, who is a content creator covering this whole situation, he reviewed part of the notice, and the letter reportedly stated that Intrepid Studios could not meet its recent payroll period and indicated a potential studio closure by the end of business on Monday, February 2nd. So by the time you guys are seeing this, that's going to be tomorrow. They're done. It's over. We didn't even get an actual announcement of closure from...
Business is business, right, chat? Business is business. We have no one to answer to, just the community. Oh, by the way, community, we haven't told you, but the game's done. Well, holy shit. This man, not that he cares, right? I mean, I know he's trying to save face, but he's never going to be able to start another company in gaming again. He'll just go make another multi-level marketing scheme somewhere else.
The studio. Now that might come after this video goes out, or it might come like, this is literally like breaking. It might come while I'm editing this video. I don't know. But the simple fact is they were paid from Steam this week, and a few days later, the entire studio gets shuttered. And
he didn't even say, he just took the money. He was like, well, let's get our paycheck and fucking leave. Just shut it down. Recoup whatever we can. Unfucking believable.
Despite the widespread departures and the imminent closure, you can still buy.
So where are the servers? How are they going to keep the servers running? If the studio's closed and the game's still up right now, what do you have? 1 more month?
The fucking game on Steam. So here's what I need every single person to do who owns a copy of the game and has access to do it. I need you to go tank that review score. I need you to go and review bomb the absolute living fuck out.
No, not review bomb. Yeah. See, this is exactly where review bomb needs to come in. People being frustrated and talking about what it is. That's not a review bomb, by the way. That's your right as a customer to be like, you just stole fucking money, and they should review bomb it, right? There should be class action lawsuits against this company.
Of this game, because that's the only way Steam is then going to step in and potentially get people refunds who are eligible for it. Truth.
Yeah, but this should not be on Steam. Right? This should not be on Steam. Steam shouldn't come in and be like, we're going to protect you guys. Right? Steam has nothing to do with this. Steam's like, hey, you have a game? We'll sell your game. Right? But now they're like, hey, we want refunds. Now, Steam does this. If they do this, big win on them. But I doubt Steam wants to give out $300 of their money, okay, to this company who's gone, right? Now, Steam could take them out, but I think class action lawsuit needs to happen. This is bad, chat. This is fucking bad.
The matter is, a lot of people playing Ashes of Creation either spent upwards of $250 or $500 to play it. And here's what I will say. I know there's going to be a lot of people that jump at that and go, well, that's on them. And if you spent $250 or $100%,
it is on them. Hence why a person like myself always says, just be careful, right? Don't pre-order, right? Don't pre-order. Don't buy day one, right? Let the developers sweat.
$500 on the game, it's on you. But at the end of the day, Steven can sit here and play this politic game where he says this board took control and did all this. At the launch of Ashes of Creation on Steam on December 11th, 2025, you, Steven, knew that the...
Oh. So, okay. So I didn't know it. It just launched on Steam December 11th. So we're like a month and a half that it just popped up on Steam. Okay. This is why I like doing this live, right? This is why I like doing it live and giving you my thoughts and opinions as we do this, right? I thought it's been on Steam for the years because it was an early access, okay? I didn't know he just threw it on Steam a month and a half ago. 100% from the last month and a half, if anybody purchased this off of Steam, 100% Steam should give their money back because of this situation. I thought it was like 5 years in the making and that Steam has to give money back to all those people from 5 years ago, right? No. Okay, so now I'm on the same page. Steam, anyone that purchased this game in the last month and a half since December 11th, 100% Steam should protect those people, okay? Not anybody else before that. That's where I thought they were paying out money for people that wasn't even their problem. Steam 100% is going to come out and refund these people. 100%. And this is exactly why Steam is so goddamn beloved by the community.
Fucking studio was in financial trouble, and you knew that was your last final attempt at a cash grab before the fucking thing falls apart. You knew it.
Yeah, that looks fucking dirty as shit because he knew what was happening a month and a half ago. He knew what was happening a month and a half ago, and he still put it out on Steam.
Anybody with any fucking business sense would know that the timeline doesn't match. You guys didn't even make it out 60 days and the company is shuttered. Everybody's laid off. There's a board breathing down your fucking neck. Some boogeyman board that nobody fucking knows.
Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. The gentleman is just trying to save face right now.
About until right now. You're an absolute fucking scumbag. You're an
Agreed.
Absolute scammer. And honestly, Steven, you're one of the biggest pieces of shit in the gaming space today.
1,000%. Couldn't say it better myself.
Go fuck yourself. For everybody who was a part of that upper management and on that upper team, go fuck yourselves as well, because every single one of you knew what the fuck was going on. You knew it was a...
Yeah, and they don't give a shit. They don't care about the community. They don't care about the community. You know who cares about the community? You know who cares about the community? Fucking Larian Studios cares about the community. Right? You know who cares about the community? Even though the game was broke, buggy, and unfinished when it came out? Hello Games. Hello Games cares about their community. Right? You would hope that when Light No Fire comes out, they don't make the same mistakes they did with No Man's Sky. That game comes out and it's done. Right? There's companies that actually care about their community. And you could tell they do because of the way they act. Unlike this.
Cash grab. You guys knew that the studio was going to shutter, and most likely you knew that this game was fucking dead, and you tried to recoup as much as you possibly could from the Steam fucking community so that you could at least try to make out even. I don't fucking know, but you guys are absolute pieces of shit. Yet another game goes out onto Steam knowing that they're going to fucking shutter and most likely fail, but you did it anyway because you needed to try to recoup as much. It was all business.
Yep. Hey, man, business is business. People's friendships break up because of business. It's a dog-eat-dog world, man.
You, for the last 12 fucking years, built up this community as if you actually gave a shit about anybody. But no, you really don't. You were a wolf in sheep's clothing.
That's what I said. I said it earlier.
Pretending to be that hunky-do. Oh, I'm just a guy who wants to return to the glory days of... Oh, fuck yourself.
You could... I don't want to name names, but you can look at a lot of developers out there that are trying to bring gaming back and, right, the glory days and stuff, and you look at their companies and you're like, or did you get it in it because of the money? Look, I get it. People look at video game companies and like, we can make a shit ton of money. I like this pausing of the FU. It's great, right? I love that these companies, they get called out. They should get called out.
Intrepid Studios has a development update live stream currently scheduled for Friday, February 13th. I'm going to venture to say nobody's going to fucking be there. So it
would be amazing if they are, but I don't think it's happening, right?
probably not going to happen. And this whole resigning in protest and talking about these unethical policies that you couldn't put your name on. What does that even mean? These guys were staring down a double barrel shotgun to put this game onto Steam to try.
And I know there'll be people that fucking defend this shit. They'll trash night this till the day they're dead because they put $300 into this game. They put $500 into this game. And they'll be like, well, I had fun. I don't regret anything. That might be true. But don't defend a company that literally ran with your money.
Try to recoup as much money as they possibly could before the thing all crumbles. I do feel bad for the developers who have been working and now won't see payroll. And the cream of the crop is on their Kickstarter from way back in 2017. There is a little caveat. There's a little statement there that says if the game does not launch, they will refund every...
Ooh. Oh, boy. Our file in case Ash Grace does not launch, we promise to refund all backers in full. Oh, boy. Class action lawsuit. Oh, boy. Hope they don't delete that off their Kickstarter page, huh?
Every single backer of that Kickstarter to the tune of 3.27 million USD. Now, does a Steam early access release count as a launch? When you actually read that price.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that, Big Fry. Does the Ash of Creation launch on Steam count as a launch? Bro. Lawyer up. Lawyer up. Huh. Does it count as a launch? Oh, man. What a fucking scumbag. That's why he launched it. He's like, how do we save this? Well, it has that little asterisk next to it on Kickstarter, and if we don't launch the game on Steam... Oh, my God. Why? Chat, we just want to play games, man. We just want to play games. Why is this like a Sopranos episode? Like, what is happening here?
Press release from November. It says early access begins on December 11th, 2025 and will continue until the game reaches the level of quality, stability, and content breadth we'd expect for launch.
Okay. How long will early access last? Early access begins on December 11th, 2025 and will continue until the game reaches the level of quality, stability, and content expect to launch. There is no fixed end date. The roadmap ahead includes progression from Alpha 2 to Beta 1. The Beta 2 eventually full release once we feel Ashes of Creation delivers the experience of community developer deserves. The world is vast and systems are ambitious, so early access will naturally evolve and build towards the final vision. How much is it on Steam in early access? How much is it? I'll look it up afterwards, but how much is it? Is it just like $20, $30?
So while they might be able to argue that the Steam early access was a launch, their own wording on the press release about the Steam
Just
release.
Enough 215 celebrates 32 months of membership, Schrodinger's launch.
Thank you very much for the 32 months membership. Appreciate that. Like, holy crap, $49.99. So it's $50 on Steam. What the fuck are we doing? They knew 100% this game was closing down.
Would indicate that the studio doesn't actually consider this a launch, which means that there might actually be some actions that could be taken.
One, I don't think this could be considered a launch, especially if you can prove that they just put it out there so they could just not pay the money back. Do you know what I mean? Boy, we're gonna follow this story. We're going to follow this story over the next year or so.
Taken from the Kickstarter backers way back in 2017. The wording is right there on the page. You will be refunded if the game does not launch. Now, I'm not saying there's going to be a class action lawsuit.
There 100% should be. 1,000% should be.
that might go against Intrepid, but I do feel like some action should be taken, especially.
The problem is, who the fuck do you sue? Right? If this guy doesn't have a fucking, you can't get blood from a stone. You know what I mean? Like, if he has no money and Intrepid is gone, who are you getting the money from? Yeah, malicious intent. It works. Yeah. Like, who do you get the money from if there's no company?
Considering the last 60 days, because in my opinion, it was malice to put this game out. You scammed
100%.
your audience. You straight up scammed every single person who bought the game on Steam to the tune of, I mean, SteamDB estimates that there's 200,000 owners on Steam. I don't know if that also adds in the people like me who had the game on the website and then converted and like added it to our account. I don't know if that's actual purchases. I have no idea. But from my fucking tally, dude, we have 3.27 million from Kickstarter. We have 25 to potentially 50 million on the website selling Alpha 1 and Alpha 2 keys.
Well, they got their money back because if I did the math, right, after I did it correctly, wrong the first time, correct the second time, $45 million is what they've done so far over the 5 years. Now, obviously, it was more developed than that. It would go higher. But if they made $50 million, they actually made their money back.
Plus the Steam launch, that's a whole shitload of money taken from the community to just have Steven just put an announcement out.
How many, I'll look it up in a second. How many people played Ashes? Well, what's the if you go to DB, I'll look it up in a second, but if you go scroll down, is it like 1 million people? 1 million people played on Steam, and it's like another $50 million?
On Discord saying, hey guys, shit's fucked. I'm out of here. This is why when
Argus says that early access counts as a launch just because you can technically play the game, as the difference between all these other closed alphas where you could play the game, it should only count as 1.0.
we look at games like High Guard and they do the whole, oh, look at this roadmap we have. Look at all this future plans we have. Gamers don't care, nor do they actually believe that any of that stuff is going to be finished anyway. We looked at the roadmap for Ashes of Creation. They clearly fucking lied about it, and now we're here. So this is yet another like high profile title that just makes people not trust the process of early access.
I was just thinking, okay, because I'm enjoying Hytale, right? I'm enjoying Hytale. If Hytale comes down the road a year and a half from now and says, guys, we got to close down, I would be pissed because obviously they closed down the thing after they tried to revive it, right? But now because of this, I wouldn't buy another early access game. If this happened to Hytale, and I'm not saying I want it to happen to Hytale in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, in my own situation, I'm enjoying Hytale. I believe Hytale will come out and be finished, right? But if Hytale all of a sudden did this and said, hey, we can't support it, we're done, before it literally launches, I would never get another early access game. That would be the straw that broke the back, all right? Because I'd be like, because this does put a little bit of doubt in my mind about early access, any early access. I don't care if, whatever game you're playing, this could happen 100%. 21,000 to 27,000 across active testing servers. The game is designed for large-scale open-world combat. The individual servers expected to support 6,000 to 10,000 plus players. Okay.
It's going to make it even harder for future games to go to Kickstarter because we just look at games like this that fail spectacularly, scam audiences, and
don't put that evil on Hytale. I'm just saying in general, Kylo, right? I don't want Hytale to be like that. What I'm saying is that if it did happen to Hytale, that would stop any early access for me. It'd be like, yeah, no, right? It's good. My house is not on fire right now, right? The neighbor's house is burning. I'm like, I'm fine, right? If it comes to the thing I like, and now it starts to burn down, I'll be like, that's it. I don't trust anybody. I wouldn't trust anybody anymore. That's what's happening with AAA games, right? Now you look at independent games and you give your trust to them because you're like, they're not the big corporations. They're not the big studios. They're not trying to swindle me out of my cash. But then there's wolf in sheep clothing. that know this and taking advantage of people because they know that people are like, hey, we're part of the community. We're listening to you. We're building this thing for you. And then they turn the pot up. You're boiling in the pot, and then they fucking eat you.
Lie to their communities time and time again. And honestly, it's just fucking sad because I played Ashes of Creation when it...
I funded Albion Online and a couple of other games off of Kickstarter years and years and years ago. Okay. So I totally understand about the Kickstarter stuff. But the reason that you're doing it is because you're like, Banner Saga. Banner Saga is another game that I funded on Kickstarter back in the day, right? Stoic. I think they're great developers. Okay. Albion Online, still going to today, right? A part of me feels awesome that I helped them get to the point where they made the game and now they're still around like a decade later, right? That feels good. But at the same time, I've also funded stuff and I'm like, I didn't make it, right?
Came to Steam, I did a live stream and I thought it was okay to mediocre. I said for 10 years of development, it kind of feels like it's a little lacking, especially with this star-studded industry veteran team they had. It feels like it should have been further along in development. And now I totally get why it's in this.
Well, it makes you wonder though, right? It makes you wonder if these game companies take your money and it takes super long, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look, you like Star Citizen, I get it. But is Star Citizen ever going to come out? Why does it have to come out? If they keep getting the support that they get and they keep making the game that they have and the people that like the game are liking the game and playing the game, do they ever have to come out? No. They have this like bubble of the same people that love the game that they're doing and they're bringing other people in and they never actually have to complete the game. They can just keep doing what they're doing.
State that it's in because of the guy at the top. Big piece of shit, little dick energy from Steven Sharif. And then to pass the buck in the final hours after the Steam payment clears is some of the biggest scumbag shit I have seen in my fucking life.
And now BigFry is tainted that way, right? Now, the next thing that comes out, even though when he said in the video earlier on of himself from an earlier time, right? You have this criticism and cynicism inside of you now that now the next time someone does something for any MMO, look how many fucking MMOs have been canceled in the last month, from Amazon to World of Warcraft, from Microsoft to this, right? No one's going to believe anything anymore that comes out of the mouth of any MMO.
If you own Ashes of Creation on Steam, I urge you to review bomb the absolute shit out of it and try to make Steam aware of it so that maybe something will get done. And the reason why I say this is worse than the day before or Fantastic Studios shut down 4 days after launch. You know it was a scam, but they actually didn't get any of the money because
Right.
Steam stepped in and refunded everybody because of that time period. Ashes of Creation kept the facade up all the way until that first check cleared, and then they rode off into the sunset. Go fuck yourself. My name is BigFry. Go to patreon.com/BigFry. Support the channel. We do exclusive live streams and videos over there, as well as early access to the Push to Talk podcast. We just launched our game Transients on Steam back in December. It's a single-player stealth action tactical FPS inspired by the games I played growing up. We built it on a shoestring budget, no crowdfunding, no scamming our fucking audience.
There you go. You made a game. I didn't know that. BigFry made a game.
You can pick it up today on Steam. It's a fully launched product. You don't have to wait 10 years for a Discord message telling you to go fuck yourself about a board of directors.
Beautiful. See, stuff like this makes me feel better because the guy put his money where his mouth is, right? He made a game and it's out there. You can buy it right now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for an update. You don't have to wait 12 months, 18 months. You buy the game, you play the game, make a game, sell a game.
And it's actually pretty fucking fun if I do say so myself. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
There you go. Good video. It's a good video. That's crazy though. That's a crazy fucking story for Ash of Creation. Like, just another one in the books, boys. Another one in the books. You know what Ash of Creation needs, chat? I know. It's time for a song. We're gonna have to make an Ash of Creation song. It's gonna join the rest of the hits that I've created. Let me see what's going on Twitter right now. The Game Awards is already telling you to save the date for December 10th of 2026. As of right now, February 2nd, are we in February 2nd? I'll be honest right now, chat. I don't know if we're going to watch the Game Awards next year on GXG. I don't know. As of right now, Ash to Ashes. It's a good name. It's a good name. Asses of Creation. Oh, don't worry. I'll make a good one. Don't worry. Arc Raiders budget. There you go. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Arc Raiders budget, $75 million. $75 million for Arc Raiders budget. That's kind of, I said it would be about 60 to 80. There you go. It's right there. Yeah, I think they made that back, Water. I'm pretty sure they made that back. Jesus. Josh Strife Hayes says, here's something fun. Let me bring it up. Here's something fun. He says, live streaming on YouTube actively lost me subscribers. People who sub for MMO content saw a live stream notification and was playing OSRS and went, nope. Don't like this. And fucking unsubscribe. He lost 200, almost 200 people because of a live stream. Jesus. My goodness. My shit stays exactly the same, right? I lose 5, I gain 6. I lose 7, right? I gained 8. You know what I mean? It's like constantly going back and forth, back and forth. Oh, look at this. Speaking of Albion Online, tell me my internet doesn't hear me. Okay. Albion Online, new year, new ride. Xbox Game Pass subscribers can get a new Royal Ox mount skin this month. You'll have a chance to connect your Xbox account to claim the Green Knight and other exclusive rewards. Look at that. Can you play? Albion Online is on Xbox Game Pass. Wait a minute. The game is on Xbox Game Pass now? Albion Online is now available on Xbox Game Pass. This brings the game to a whole new audience. Holy shit, I didn't know that. Look at that. I funded these guys on Kickstarter all those years ago, and now they're fucking on Game Pass. I could have waited. Chat. I could have waited 12 years to just play it on Game Pass. I did not know. I might turn this on. I love playing this game. I played this game so much. I put hundreds of hours into this game. I did not know this on Game Pass. I'm going to fucking download this just to see how it is on the console. The one reason I backed Albion Online way back when is because you could play it on a mobile device. And I wanted to play an MMO. And the only MMOs that were out on mobile devices was like Order and Chaos and then Albion Online. Ray says, who cares about Albion Online? Where's Honkai Star Rail? Where's Infinite Nikki? Where's the big Chinese games where all the PlayStation but not Xbox? I don't know. I'm excited because I funded these guys way back when on Kickstarter. What year was that? Yeah, 2017. A long time ago. So really 2016. Oh, it wasn't Kickstarter. It wasn't Kickstarter. It was their own direct funding thing. I could have sworn it was Kickstarter. Am I wrong about that? That doesn't make sense. Hold on a second. Where did I see that?
Hey guys, Yasmin here. I'm Community Manager at Sandbox. So Albion Online is the first true cross-platform MMO which will allow
This is
players
back
to play
11
on many
years
different
ago.
devices all the time feeling like they're getting a complete MMO experience.
This is exactly why I funded them. Because I wanted to play an MMO on my mobile device.
Devices all together, and I'm controlling the characters on each just to show you how the movement with one device will then be displayed on the other devices. So I've just gone through PC versions, and now I'm onto the Android tablet using the touchscreen.
Man.
Players can play on an
So
iPad
I'm not
over
crazy.
their morning coffee,
But it,
and
I
when they
could
get
have
home
sworn it was
from
on
work,
Kickstarter at
they
one
can
point.
settle into their sofa and have a really good gaming session.
Could have sworn. Could have sworn it was there. Yeah, no, real, what's it called? Crossplay and stuff. Yeah, real multi-platform. Actual multi-platform. What year? When did I'm so confused. When did Albion Online get to Game Pass? Is that like recently? I guess it came out October. Holy shit, I didn't even know it was on Game Pass at that point. Interesting. Maybe I did. Actually, I'm going to have to go back to one of the shows in October. I think I actually said it, now that I think about it. I just didn't know when it was coming out. Let me see what else we got here. Marvel to reportedly skip running Super Bowl trailer this year. Okay. This is pretty funny. Pirate Nation, someone reposted his thing. It says, name a bigger downgrade. World of Warcraft 1996, 2026. Jesus. I got into Albion because of the RS has crossplay and some better systems. Yeah, it's really good. It's actually a really good game. Obviously, if you're very driven with if you get into a faction in Albion Online, it's a much better experience. If you're a solo player, there's going to be a hard wall that you hit because there's like high level stuff. And again, I haven't played it in years, but what used to happen is that you used to be able to go into higher end tier and get the resources, but then gank fests used to come through. Murder groups would come through each of the zones and just murder everybody in their path, and you lose all your stuff at that point, and they just grab all your stuff and run. So at that point, it was very, not good. All right. There's a Stranger Things animated show happening. Okay. All right. I think that's going to do it for us today. We're going to do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We have uploads that we've done, last couple ones. We did a couple on High Guard. So check that out as well. You can also check out, like I said, we have plenty of uploads that we've been putting on the channel as of recently. I'm working on another script right now for comedies, actually. I'm making a script right now about talking about how comedies have died and that Hollywood just killed comedies. So I'm working on that. So that might happen sometime this week. I've written the script, but I have to get the B-roll and stuff for it. So hang around for that. I also did the death of a complete game at launch. So that's up there right now as well. So if you haven't seen that, give that a listen to. Appreciate it very much. We'll be back tonight for some gameplay. I'm not sure if we're playing some game with Aku, or if I'm playing some Hightail. If anybody wants to play Hightail tonight, if you guys want, maybe what we can do, if anybody wants to play Hightail, I could just start a server just when I'm online, and we could adventure together or do something together in Hightail, because I'm really enjoying it. I got some mods that I downloaded where I can make like lightsabers and Beskar armor and stuff now inside the game, which is pretty cool. So let me know if we all know you're going to play Hightail. I mean, I probably will play Hightail. I just said it. I mean, it's a good fucking game. I'm having a blast. We're not going to play High Guard. I deleted it from my hard drive, and I will never download it again. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So most likely we'll play Hightail tonight. So if anybody wants to play Hightail and you want to do a little adventure together, you guys let me know, and we'll play some Hightail. We'll make a brand new server, starting the game, and then if it's every time I'm online, you guys want to join in and play. I don't know if I want to pay for a server yet. We'll see how it goes. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Corporate store, call it Midgard, not quite there. Call it overguard, overpromise there. Call it high watch, just watching it fall, but they still call it high guard, like it's standing tall. Free to play, but it's paying in time. Not complete, not polished, not ready to shine. They say it's gold, but it's barely bronze. High guard name, but the hype is gone. Minutes feel empty, system feel thin, feels like early access wearing live service skin. Free to play, but the content's light, like a store page dream with no Call it Midgard, middle of the road. Call it overguard, overhyped code. Call it high watch, just watching it stall. But they still call it high guard like it's got it all. Free to go, free to play, but it's missing its soul. Not complete, not deep, not fully whole. They sold the dream, but shipped the frame. High guard title, mid-tier game. Game awards, lights don't finish a game. Hype don't polish code, trailers don't change. Marketing loud, but systems are quiet. You can't patch vision, you can't fake buy-in. Players don't hate, they just want it real. Not a store page promise, but something to feel. Call it Midgard, honest name. Call it overguard, overplayed game. Call it high watch, watch the trust fall. But they still call it high guard like it stands tall. Free to play, but it's not complete. Feels like a launch that shouldn't be released. Maybe one day it'll rise, maybe one day it'll shine. But today, it's a beta with the headline. High guard by name, Midgard by design. Free to play dream, not finished in time. High guard by name, Midgard by design. Free to play dream, not finished in time. Free to play dream, not finished in time.